Hello again. In this video, we're going to have a look at activity management in Dynamics 365 for sales. So activities are everything that are, or every activity that is contained within this activity section under My Work. Okay, we're going to come back to this in a second because it's easier to create activities from the record that it actually relates to so that we can then just work through them from this list. So to start, we're going to click on contacts. We're going to use a very simple example of creating a follow-up task for Adam Shieldson here in our contact list. So in navigation, we talk briefly through what everything on this page means, so details on the left and timeline in the middle. For this, we're going to focus on the timeline. And firstly, we're going to imagine that we've made a phone call. Yeah, so we'll click on phone call. We'll get a little pop-up on the right that allows us to enter a bit more information. So we'll click on call, description, good conversation with a duration. All that sort of stuff. I'm just going to close this off and complete it just so that it's a historic phone call rather than being a pending phone call. There's a lot of different ways to use Dynamics. What we tend to do as a business is use phone calls for stuff that's already happened and then tasks for future activities. The reason we use tasks for future activities instead of uncompleted phone calls is because tasks will synchronize through to Outlook. And I can show you that in a subsequent video. Should be Outlook integration if you want to search for that separately. So we've made the phone call, we've got a note, that's been added to our timeline, and now we want to set up a follow activity. So we'll go onto task, and then we'll say follow up. We can enter a description if we want, and then we're just going to set the due date. So we're going to say this time next week, and we can enter a specific time if we want to. Save and close, and what that will do is that will be a pending task that will be added to our activity list. So if I now go into activities, and I scroll down, I can see that task's just been created as a follow-up against Adam. And if we want to go back into Adam, we just click on his hyperlink here. So it's very easy, very fluid once you get to terms with the way that it all works. Assuming we have followed up, we can then log another phone call, and then we can complete it in the same way as we did for that previous phone call. So very easy. Phone calls and tasks aren't the only activity types, so some of this terminology should be familiar. So if we click on appointment, this is exactly the same as booking something in your Outlook calendar. So you can invite contacts that exist within your CRM system or Dynamics for Sales and subjects. So, meeting to discuss options, for example, and then we can put that in and save and close for that to be added to the list. This will then synchronize through to Outlook and appear in our calendar. It's a two-way sync, so irrespective of whether we create it in Dynamics or Outlook first, that will synchronize for us. We will look at Outlook integration on the next video, so again, please search for that separately. I'm just talking about how we create tasks from Dynamics in this session today. And then the last one, again, email. It'll open up a new window that allows us to send out an email from Dynamics, providing we have that facility enabled. What I would say, though, is preferential to send from Outlook and then integrate back into Dynamics, just so that you get those advanced formatting tools that you get in Outlook. But it's up to you as a business, depends on what you want to do. It's perfectly acceptable to send out from Dynamics as well. So they're the main activity types. Of course, there's a few more, but they start getting more advanced and more complex as we go through. So they're the main ones that we're going to focus on today. What you'll then find when you go back to every record, assuming that you've done work elsewhere, is there will be a little intelligent prompt at the top that says this is what you missed whilst you're away, as an indication of Microsoft updating that user experience to make sure you're always on top of everything. All right, we can even see that at the top right here, we've got that relationship assistant, which ties to Microsoft's AI algorithm that is showing us something that's up and coming, useful information, as a prompt without us having to wade through all of the activities and tasks that we may have assigned to this particular contact. All right, so easy enough to create tasks. We can close them from either the record itself, or we can come in here and say, right, well, actually, we've completed that follow-up now. So if I want to, I can just click that and I can mark as complete. I can change it to a different record. So if I accidentally set that against Adam when it should have been with somebody else, then I can set it to a different contact or customer, or I can assign it to another member of the team. So if I click on assign here, I can go in and say that I want to assign it to somebody else and then search for them there. So the whole process behind assigning tasks, creation, and all that sort of stuff is very easy to do. And as we'll look into more detail in subsequent sessions, when you're on a list view such as this, you can then start refining. So what we do at Azure IT is obviously prioritize our tasks, not only by sort of normal or high priority, but then of course by due date, i.e. when people have requested that we then follow up with them. Okay. So hopefully that's given you a good summary of the way that activities work within Dynamics for Sales. I've used the example of contacts, but it works in exactly the same way for accounts, leads, opportunities, any other area of the system as well. So yeah, hopefully that was useful. To order Dynamics 365 licenses or to sign up to a 30-day free trial, navigate to d365.link/now.